Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rendezvous Podcast. We're back. We took a week off, had some scheduling stuff that we had to figure out, but we are back, even if a day late. But it's all good. We're here. We're back. Bangovic, Bodork, how are you guys doing?
I'm great. And if I can guess how Bo's feeling, I guess he is going to be depressed.
I mean, like, we shouldn't even talk about it at this point. Like, it's just a curse. It's just a curse at this point. Like, the Bodor curse. Always getting messed over by everything and everyone.
That's the life of a Polaris manager, I feel.
Well, at least I can say we got some good news soon. Hopefully.
Okay.
Soon, hopefully.
So in other words, that is not happening.
That's not happening.
Yeah. But that's I feel like that is the life of a manager in the EMEA at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the
harsh
reality. I mean, like,
reality.
it's just disappointing to see that Riot doesn't care. So we'll see if they care one day.
Shots fired 1 minute into the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, you try to do stuff internally, they don't listen. It is what it is.
Look, Riot Games, I'm just going to say I don't associate with what Bo's saying right now. I love Valorant. I love...
Bro, don't risk fucking Riot.
I've never played League. I've never played League. But I love it. I love League. I've never played it though. I've never watched it, but I love League. Yeah, it's great. So, I'm on this side.
Anyways,
he's on that side.
Yeah. There's a Bangovic in between.
Yeah. He's This is like the spectrum of like Riot simpage.
Yeah, I'm literally like love-hate relationship with like Riot, so it's perfect.
All right.
Amazing.
Sick.
Let's get into things. The first thing we've got to talk about today is, I think, the thing that is causing Bo the most distress. Something that was revealed today as we're recording this, and that is that the Ascension locations for the LANs later in the year to get the teams into partnerships have been revealed. And we've got this nice roadmap article from Riot here, which is very lovely. But to summarize, in Pacific, the LAN is going to be held in Bangkok in Thailand, which is really cool. They haven't seen any kind of event before in Valorant, so nice to see. In Americas, it's going to be held in Sao Paulo, I think, in the same studio as Game Changers, and then a different location for the final game. And then in EMEA, the one we know and love, it's being held in the Coliseum, same as the Partnership League. So, yeah.
I'll start off with this. The venue is fine. Like, I made a tweet earlier, which I just fucked up completely. Where I basically
because you've never done that before.
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Exactly. Like Bodorgan, like, making tweets that he like misinterprets or something like that. It's always the best kind of tweets. The venue isn't bad at all. The thing is just, you look at Pacific and you look at Americas. They both have like unique locations that basically give more interest to those challenger leagues, because it's going to be something new, something exciting. And for us, it's going to be at the Coliseum. The Coliseum is fucking amazing. I mean, Bangovic is there 24/7, so he could probably confirm how good it is.
It is actually the best.
The problem for me is, like, the location will not be exciting for like potential future investors into the challengers leagues. And we already have like okay, I found out in total we've had 6 organizations who still owe their players money, like full-on salaries for like months of practice.
That's crazy. That is
crazy.
It's
just like, we need something to try to like start up the EMEA league again. And I know that financial times are hard, but if even Riot can't even do anything about it, I don't even like, I lose all hope, to be honest. It's just like, go to India or something, because like you'll at least get something there.
That was so random. But like, regarding the Ascension tournament, like, what really bothers me about this one is like the playoffs are in the Coliseum, right? So the play-ins,
only
like,
playoffs.
So only 4 out of the days. Like 4 out of the 10 teams.
It's a single elim playoffs, 3 days. That's it.
This is
Everything will
just
be
in
online,
EMEA,
the
by the
rest.
way, for
Yeah,
anyone
exactly,
listening who's
yeah.
not aware. In the other regions, all
Important.
of it is online.
Yeah, and that's why we're angry, because it's why is it only in the EMEA when all the other regions like get
Yeah,
treated
and like
differently?
okay, initially they said like I believe it was Utilix who said that like according to Riot it was initially gonna be like a double elim,
Okay.
and
Yeah, because
for
it's a
some
double
reason
elim in one
playoffs
of the
has
regions.
changed into a single elim, and it's so short. Like it's
Mm.
only 3 days for a playoffs event that like crowns the team that goes into like the EMEA partnerships,
Isn't
which is just like
isn't
that
Pacific
is
and
not.
Americas, aren't they double elim? Or one of them is, I think.
That's a good question, actually. I believe
Yeah,
do-
America's
is
is
double
double
elim.
elim. Is Pacific too? I believe it was also.
I think so. Which is just random.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of this is shouts to me and probably also organizations budget cuts.
Mm.
You are reusing a venue, which is cool. Like the venue should be used more, sure, but
Yeah.
still reusing a venue. If Riot is not going to change anything in the venue to make it like a little bit different for Ascension, then you're just using the same production and everything. You're just
Yeah.
reusing stuff, and then you add the fact that like the play-ins are gonna be online, which is fine. The group stages for Ascension is gonna be online for
Is
some
that
current
so?
region.
So let's
Yeah.
say I don't know, Hookahs or Apex, for example, play S2G from Turkey. Is that just
Yeah.
online? Like
It's
I
just
don't know
gonna
how
be
much
online.
ping, 70 ping or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how
It's just
much.
gonna be online.
And then only
That-
like the
that is
last 3
crazy.
days, like basically
And
the
then-
July
yeah.
13 to 16, they will be on LAN to determine from 4 teams
On a,
who will
single
make it.
elim playoff bracket. I mean, that's just it's not really right, is it?
Yeah, so online group stages, and then you go into a single elim and a LAN event that's only like 3 days.
Hmm.
That is not going to sit well with like organizations who might be interested in the future to come into challengers, especially for EMEA, because then you look at Pacific and like, oh, Pacific has this. I could go
Yeah.
to Pacific instead, or NA. I could go to NA instead, or even LATAM.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, it's almost like they've gone. Yeah, I mean, we can kind of get away with using the same venue, and because EMEA is not many, it's not as clouted. People aren't going to complain as much, so we can kind of get away with it. It's the feeling that I kind of get when I think about, what they're doing with it. It's just odd. I don't know why they're not.
It's just budget cuts, I guess. They just don't want to spend as much in EMEA because it's already doing really badly, which is also Riot's fault for like putting us up in 9 separate leagues. Like, oh man, okay.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but we will get onto that.
yeah, we'll get on to that. But for now, I think like how the Ascension tournaments are held for Pacific and Americas, I think pretty
Yeah,
nice.
great.
Like,
Yeah,
pretty
great.
nice. And for whatever reason, probably pay a cut. Like, I mean, you mentioned like some of the reasons, potential reasons, but just from a perspective of like an observer, like from a spectator, I'm bummed. Like, it's just sad. You just canceled your camp. No, but I'm like just sad actually. I would love to watch like just the same format, like basically for EMEA, and also as you said, like the top team will promote to franchising in a single elimination bracket, which is a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, like, that's a big thing. I mean, for
Yes.
these orgs, like you were saying, bro. I mean, you think about the orgs in Americas, how much it would mean for a team like the Guard or M80 or even Moist. Can you imagine if Moist
Yeah.
made it to franchising, right?
Yeah.
But it's a single elim bracket. How many Masters events have we seen where teams
Yeah.
have lost in the first round? I mean, Optic, you can count numerous times, FPX, but they went on to win the entire thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel what I don't want to happen is we get to that playoff bracket and a really good team like, I don't know, like Apex or whoever gets upset by a team who's not necessarily, got the staying power, or an org
Yeah.
that's not got the staying power of a team like
Yeah.
Apex. And then they get into franchising and then the team and the org kind of falls apart. That's what I really don't want to happen. I think a single elim bracket almost
That will literally
invites
just
that
ruin
possibility.
the entirety of challengers because like
Yeah.
Apex is probably the best example of a team that should make it because they are able. They have like an organization that
proven
can
it.
actually like do stuff in partnerships.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Apex or
Mm.
or Focus. Just thinking about examples from
Yeah.
Polaris.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you could probably expect like some of the smaller organizations to just focus on getting the stipend and just like live out the 2 years of being bottom fraggers because they get money anyways.
Yeah, but even that, like, I mean, to be fair, considering all the things you have to do with this dependence, like, I'm not even sure if that's enough to like just maintain.
Yeah, but Riot gives like more extra incentives for organizations when they do like small events, like community events and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
But that costs
And
money.
like, yeah,
Right,
but there's
so-
also ways to not like make
Yeah.
it cost as much.
You
Which
can be
is
smart
something
about
that,
it.
like,
Sure.
there are some ways to like use this opportunity well.
Definitely.
But Riot also just seems like that they kind of are sitting in a pickle now.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the regions, the one where they could cut costs if they needed to was EMEA, which is the unfortunate reality of it. But it's true. You're not going to cut costs in Americas because you've got the most eyes there. Even Pacific, we've seen Pacific Challenges,
Yeah.
maybe even has more. Just
it was
that has a lot of
very-
interest. I mean,
very
the
close
Japanese
to-
league.
Yeah.
to Americas.
I mean, just a sad reality. Like we'll probably stay a CS region. I mean, it's looking bleak. Like it's no joke looking worse than Overwatch contenders.
Hmm.
That's the worst part about it.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched
At least contenders teams, like the small teams in contenders, get paid.
Okay.
Some of these teams, some of the teams who are still currently competing, don't got their salaries
Hmm.
because the organization is not
Yeah.
willing to pay them.
It's weird, isn't it? Because the way that they've done the NA league, especially, it reminds you of the franchise league. You have those 12 teams who are in it for the whole year, etc., etc. Of course, teams can get relegated, but in EMEA, it almost seems like they've
It's just too
tried to do
stretched.
that, but across 9 different leagues, and I think it's
Yeah.
just not really worked. Well, I don't think it's
Yeah,
worked
I
at
mean,
all in most of the 9
EMEA
leagues.
should just be, and I really hate by saying it, but EMEA should just be split up into two leagues.
2, you think 2?
We can't like risk any more. It just needs to be 2 separate leagues with a bunch of teams, and just take it from there because you
Are
don't
you
have
thinking like
grassroots.
east west?
Yeah, east, west, north, south. I don't like. It's just like we need to start back from zero to get like the tier 2 system to actually work, because Riot's ambitions in EMEA were too big for a region that is too CS oriented right now.
That's the main problem, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah,
the main thing.
it's just about starting up the grassroots,
Mhm.
and that's something that Riot has completely forgot. They've rushed everything in
Yeah.
EMEA. And it's really, really sad because that just means that we're gonna see maybe less talented players in EMEA for the future.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah, I
they would
think
rather gamble on CS than they would on Valorant.
Riot, they do a very good job of capturing the culture. At least, well, in NA, I think they've done a very good job, and in
Yeah.
Pacific as well. I mean, just look, the amount of clout that NA generates is the clout
Yeah.
region. That's the point. EMEA may be known for its more, super competitive environment and stuff.
Yeah.
Which of course other
EMEA
regions
is
have,
never
but
clouded. EMEA is not based on
Yeah.
clout.
Mm.
EMEA is based on winning stuff.
Yeah.
but it's difficult because they've obviously gone partly for clout in a franchise league. You put
Yeah.
in Carmine Core Heretics, and they've harnessed that regional pride. But when, I feel like culminating regions together in leagues would do so much for the regional matchups.
Yeah.
Right now you don't have those. You just have French teams against French teams or Spanish teams against Spanish teams. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
just get like you could have just done like 12 teams in 2 leagues, and it would already be more than what NA has, and it would be more sustainable, especially if you make sure that each region is represented in those leagues. So you say,
Yeah,
for
sure.
example, two Northern Europe teams, two French teams, or like
Yeah.
depending on how popular each region is, they maybe get a third slot.
Yeah.
Basically, do a little bit like partnerships, just in a smaller amount.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think that
like
makes sense.
those regional teams, they can run into relegation
Yeah.
for their
Like,
own region.
if I also compare it like to the grassroots and like the tier 2 system and like League, what is carrying League, for example, is also like K Corp, Heretics, and stuff like that. Like those were teams that like who are still are or used to be tier 2 teams, which are very clouded and got insane viewerships. But that's not the case in EMEA. All those clouded tier 2
I mean,
point,
General
1 point,
Mates
yeah,
is saving France.
yeah,
Because France was down bad. Like they had 46,000 viewers for Split 1. But then General Mates got announced and now they are suddenly they might even beat Japan at this point
yeah, it's
in terms
insane.
of viewership.
Yeah, I honestly think that it's the content creator teams
Yeah,
that are like big. I mean, you look at NA, of course, but you said about France. Is Crazy Raccoon? I don't know if it's a content creator team, but it's like a massive
Well,
org in
yes, but
Japan, isn't
actually
it?
no. It's a strange corporation.
I
Yeah.
see.
But it's a
So-
similar vein, right? So I feel like if they lean into that,
But like
I don't know.
Japan has grassroots in Valorant because it's
Yeah.
the first shooter game that actually got popular there in like
Yeah.
in terms of esports.
Mm.
And that's what is carrying Japan because they had
see.
like the small hype up, which is the same thing with like CS with Astralis because Astralis kept winning. That just made like CS popular in Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
And speaking of small hype ups, um, let's move on because we've been talking about that for a while.
True.
We got a small bit of hype here with a tweet from Leo Faria, of course, the global head of Valorant Esports, and he was replied to a tweet by George Geddes about a new possible format for Ascension and Champions qualification. Now, you know, the initial idea in his original tweet is a little bit far-fetched, and I don't think would ever happen.
Yeah.
But you know, he clarifies it later on as Leo in the conversation, and gets on talking about an off-season tournament possibly in the works with tier 2 and tier 1 orgs playing against each other, like it's he said, co-ed versus game changers, creators versus pros, etc. And even nation-based teams, which hints at a World Cup. This is promising.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what we're gonna see for the off season.
Yeah.
Because like right now in EMEA, people are really fearing the off season because they know how badly it went last year.
Yeah.
And like I keep promising people like listen, okay, we've already been told by like by Daniel who runs like Riot EMEA that last year was pretty rushed, the off season. Now they actually have had time to like contact tournament organizers, potential sponsors, and like those types of things, so they can actually set up more tournaments for the regions so they can compete. So that brings like a positive part on it. This is also a great thing if like for example the World Cup. But the thing that like a World Cup doesn't bring is like interest from organizations because it's gonna be like rosters which are gonna like pug rosters basically.
Yeah.
Who are gonna compete against each other in like a national level. And
Mm-hmm.
World Cup, I would absolutely love to have a World Cup, but right now you need to have focus on like getting tier 2 through right now. And
Yeah.
even I was hyping up World Cup and everything like last year, but now I'm just looking at it and like maybe that wouldn't be the best idea.
I mean, yeah, sure. But then on the other hand, like, I mean, tier 2 like has a big off season ahead of them. Like, it's like I don't know, the rest of the year essentially could be an off season. I feel like, right? So that's the thing. But on the other hand, like if you look at the tier 1 teams and like how their schedule is, and especially if they make it to an international LAN or something, an LCQ, and then there's champions, they have basically like not a single week off up until champions, and then they rush or like just got into an off season. So I totally understand the point that an off season cannot have like the highest stake tournaments. So I would hope we see some of those like tournaments we have seen in the last off season, like the Tariq Ludwig Invitational. That was perfect example of like what could be like a nice competitive tournament with still having the chill factor of like we can experiment stuff and have fun and still like try things out. That was great. But I also do hope that we're going to see tier 1 versus tier 2. But I'm really like afraid of seeing an off-season. Wait, like just to at this point, like off-season filled with like tournaments with like this entire like we have national teams and it's like 2 streamers from I don't know like
please no more
streamers with pros and that's like a national team and then it's like
we do not need this.
Yeah, like Scream gonna win anyways because he's just gonna one-tap everyone.
Yes.
Belgium wins every time. Yeah, it's like so boring.
Spike Nation, woo!
No, this concept is like
for Spike Nation.
Yeah, that's like what really like where I was like afraid of like creators versus pros. Like you can do that as a show match. You can do that in like one day, like Tarek Ludwig, right? There was like this one matchup I think they had, or like at like cool. That's cool, but I don't want to get an entire tournament, like entire weekend filled with like better pucks just because like it's good names. I don't know. I hope they're going to find a balance between like we have competitive matches and we have matches where the pros can like just still chill.
Like, an idea that I had was basically just try to integrate.
This is going to be the most cap idea ever, by the way.
Oh no! What now?
No, I just know you're about to cook too hard.
Oh no! It's basically like it was something they talked about being an idea in the past. It was basically like make it an off-season event for the regional leagues, and like some of like the partner teams then had to play in those tournaments, like got invited into them. So they play against like the regional teams plus some open qualifier teams. So it would for example be like they talked about putting like Germany and Northern Europe together because Germany doesn't have a partner team. And then like Spain has of course Team Heretics, Koi, and wait, is there another Giants? So they have enough. And then
and just have them like play against each other.
Yeah, just have like a small tournament. It could even be a LAN. If like the TO has the budget for that, it would bring more attention to the regional leagues if they want to keep going with them.
Especially if you have upsets. I mean, if you if you have a Japanese tournament, you've got Zeta Division, Detonation, Crazy Raccoon. Not that the Japanese team needs any Japanese VCL needs any more viewers, but just as an example,
Detonation Gaming loses all their matches.
Imagine that happen though. Imagine. Imagine. I mean, there's more eyes on the game. Like
true.
You know,
if Apex beats like a team, like I don't know, like whatever, what would be the representative which would play in the for North
Fnatic? That
won't happen. Fnatic beats Fnatic Academy. Let's go. No, other way around. That would be sick. No, but okay, that won't happen. But if that would be the case, viewership would be higher. I agree. That would be a cool idea. I feel like, and there's also something like
it would be a good way to like introduce like the tier 2 scene.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then again, we have too many of them here in EMEA.
And also,
I can see it in the other leagues, but I can't see it in EMEA. It's gonna be too chaotic.
Also, I think the G-Loot Clash was a good idea, and what we saw there with the tier 2 there was tier 2 teams who had play-ins, and we had like the invited teams which played, and then we had like Navi versus Parla, which was an amazing series, and Parla like went still like on some like still been a competitive team, and people been following them, I feel like, in the Turkish region just because they knew that this is a good team, and we need more of that. It was an amazing showcase. I think the G-Loot Clash was like one of the only times you really had this like high competitiveness between tier 1 tier 2. I want to see more of that, maybe perhaps at the end of the off season, because I can totally understand that the players need some time off, visit the family, especially considering
like
probably
partner
like
teams.
The partner
off season
is
more about like keeping the rest of the Valorant infrastructure alive. I feel it's less about like the partner teams.
Yeah.
But more just making sure that the rest
is it from a like viewer's perspective? If there's like 3 months, I remember the gap last year between like the last game, like Champions, and the like lock-in. It was so boring. I was like, I rewatched games. It was I don't know. It was so fucking boring. I don't care. Like, of course, I would watch tier 2 if there is something going on, and there was little going on. But honestly, like last year was horrible. I was
so bored. I started a YouTube channel. Like that's how bored I was. It was. Let's
just hope something happens next year or this year.
And And quickly, Bo, I know you were saying that like right now we need to focus on getting tier 2 through. But also it's not that long until the off season starts. If they don't start organizing stuff like World Cups now, at least putting in like, bare bones preparations, then we're gonna get a rush tournament.
I am pretty sure we are not going to get like something that is like that level of an event, because a World Cup would be huge.
Yeah, but it would be sick though.
Yeah, it would be sick.
I think they could do it.
Yeah,
if they need ideas for rosters, they can go to my YouTube channel and watch the video. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding.
They could make a Russian roster like with some players which used to be on Gambit. That would be sick.
Well,
it would be Nats, Redgar,
unfortunately,
Sugetsu.
you have been met by a wild Pokemon, Visa.
Yeah, but they make it to, FPX went to Copenhagen. It's fine.
We just make it online.
Bro says Visa as if like lock-in didn't happen.
The United States versus Russia.
Lock-in happened, bro. They
went the battle of the ping.
Pretty much every country apart from Germany went to lock-in. So
I have a giga super smart idea. We do it on a ship, so we don't need visas because it's like overseas.
International airspace. Yes.
Oh my god, ISS, Lan.
Bro, you would get the same ping as like playing between Texas and some other fucking region in Russia.
No.
I mean, if the server is on the ISS, if the server is on the ISS, the gameplay isn't affected. The stream might be delayed.
But how good is the ping? That is my question.
No, there's no ping. It's LAN.
There's no ping.
We'll connect the
plug
PCs
it
together.
But the internet, like the connection to like the Riot servers.
No, the Riot servers on the
ISS.
Why is there a Riot server on the SS? Oh, I have so many questions. At this point, just put it on a Boeing.
A World Cup would be sick.
Unless you heard, like visas are not an issue.
Space station. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure they
wouldn't like. I'm sure they could solve it though. They did lock-in, and like Russian players weren't there, so
yeah.
I think it would be
but at least they prepared for that like well enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah, true.
We'll
have to wait till next year to see it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's everything in terms of news that's been floating about. Now let's get into talking about the actual games. No, don't.
Bro.
No, I'm joking.
I have
I'm kidding.
so much out of my wallet.
Okay. Let's talk about the regular season of franchising. The tier 1, the reason we're all here, is for the games. We're going to start with Pacific, I think.
Yeah, it just concluded today, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense. The Pacific League, obviously, aside from the playoffs, which haven't happened yet, the regular season is over. GG's. We know who's going to playoffs. We know who isn't, unfortunately. And DFM went 0-9. So yeah.
Yeah, that's 7.
Yeah.
To be fair, you know what is even
sad.
worse than being 0-9? Being 2-18 in maps. That hurts even more. Like 2 maps.
Yeah.
That is
not good.
That is insane. Minus 86.
Even win them against?
Detonation.
One was against Gen G. Yeah, I think like at the very beginning.
T1.
Yeah, they took T1 Gen G, but like
they haven't won for almost a year.
Detonation is just like it's not even that like the team is like insanely dog. It's
insanely dog.
Yeah, it's just like
they're not good enough.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, you don't get a minus 86 round
They aren't a
differential.
Carmine Corp. They are just Detonation.
Yeah, but they're not a Carmine Corp because they're not fun to watch. They're not that bad.
Exactly.
Like they're fun to watch, but they're just not. They're not going to win. So there's no point watching them. Like earlier this morning, the games were, what was it like? No, it was Talon Detonation.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I could watch this, or I could just wait for RRQ Paper X. And then I did that instead. Yeah. So.
I mean, that was the true toilet bowl. Like Talon versus Detonation, both last place.
Quick breaking news from Game Changers: Ascend beat Gilb. That's actually a pretty big upset.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Pacific. We'll talk about that later.
We will.
Yeah.
Back to Pacific. Should we start from the top and go down? I feel like that only makes sense. I mean, I guess we started with Detonation though, so we could go the other way. We could go
Yeah, let's go for the
bottom
bottom.
top. So yeah, Detonation. There's not much more to be said. Their opponents today, at least on the day of recording this, was Talon, who they kind of looked. I mean, they did look better towards the end of the season. They got some wins. Even beat Zeta 2-0 and Gen G.
And Gen G,
We'll talk about them. God knows. They kind of look better, but they just trolled at the start of the season, man.
Yeah, honestly, this is the big takeaway for me. This team just has proven at the end that they are capable of what everyone expected when they just play what everyone expected. They just went back to what worked, and suddenly they've been a decent team again. I'm not saying they were great. I'm not saying they're like the top 3 contenders, but they could have been in the playoffs if they just started playing like this from day one instead of like match day 6. I don't know what was in their
we can
minds.
also do the Pickems for Pacific today.
Yeah, for Pacific we can do that. True. But yeah, I'm like honestly, Talon having 3-6, being tied with Global, like it's not the worst season, but I'm just a bit disappointed that they threw away this one season, like this one split for no reason. Because at lock-in, they seem to have figured out how they want to approach the game. It seemed to work against multiple opponents. And then they just try to like throw everything around, try something new, enable Patipan into the team again, which is now even looking better. Like in the beginning, there was like, it was a bit weird. Now it looks way more set with the roles, what he's playing. It looks way more comfortable. At the end, like I don't even think that Talon needs any roster changes for the next split. I just think they have to like hold on to one thing and just practice, and then they're getting good again.
I mean, it's stuff like the triple duelist comp against DRX where you look at it and like it's like they're not taking it seriously.
Yeah,
and of course they are. I'm sure they are. But it just is not. It's just you just don't do that. You just don't.
You're not going to win Valorant. It's tier 1 Valorant. You play
DRX
against
as well.
Yeah, top 4 teams, top 3 teams ever. And you're like, triple duelist, we're going to make it work. Not even fucking PaperX is doing it.
Yeah.
Wait, they did, right? Didn't they? No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. They've only done double.
And Reina today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. But yeah.
Talon's disappointing, especially after a good showing at lock-in.
Yeah. But do you guys have hope that they can like bring it back and like refine what they like now build up and like be a contender team for playoffs? I'm not saying like top 3 team, but like can they make it into playoffs next split without roster changes, or you feel like they need to change something?
I think they need to keep a consistent 5 players, and then they can. But yeah, obviously, I mean, the potential is there clearly.
Yeah,
but it's just I'm gonna sneeze.
They got bless you. Sorry. They got Boy, right? And since they have Boy, former 100
but he's an analyst.
But I mean, I feel like since they have Boy, I feel like it's been upward trend. Right?
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah,
maybe it's the import America / EMEA analyst coach buff still applies. No, but yeah, if they keep a consistent 5, I'm hopeful that they can be a contender for playoffs and maybe even more. I don't know, but disappointing split. Speaking of disappointing, not disappointing actually, Global Esports. I feel like they showcased some great Valorant and just been unlucky, which is also like showcased by the round differential, like +4 and being the third.
They're positive.
They're
positive.
positive.
Down 3 games. Like,
they
what?
could have won so many, like not so many, but like they could literally win enough maps to make it to playoffs. It was so close for them. And I don't know, this team looked every week, they look better. Week in, week out, every time. And a player to point out, or like definitely SK Rossi, since he come back, I feel like things went into the right direction. Also like Texture now being on the Killjoy and stuff like that.
He's so
he's clicking hats, dude. Oh my god, amazing player. I don't know, I'm very hopeful for Global Esports. I'm a bit heartbroken that it didn't make it to playoffs, but still, like, there's a lot to take away from the split. And even though it's the same scoreline as Talon, I do feel like they definitely can make playoffs next split.
Yeah, I mean, they would. That Team Secret game, if they won that, they were in playoffs, and it was close. It's a real shame, really, because you see SK Rossi talking about how like his biggest dream is to make playoffs. He says there's no point us playing if we don't make playoffs, which is really sad. And the hate that he gets is just completely unjustified.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we know they've got a passionate fan base.
Yeah.
But this was a wild idea. I mean, that's
That
almost the charm
was.
of it, right?
Yes.
Like that's the reason that I kind of fell in love with the team and the storyline of it is that crazy roster. You've got people coming in and out, especially in the early weeks when they were trying to, you know, get on their feet, and they didn't manage to pull it through. But I'm still really proud of them, and I think they definitely have a shot in the LCQ. If they kind of sort everything out, like you said, texture.
Oh,
On the Killjoy, perfect role for him. He looks crazy good.
Monyet.
And
Like, holy
Monyet.
shit, yeah. What a player. Man, smoke players with an M in the name, huh?
He is just clutching out impossible rounds, getting aces with a classic. I don't know, this guy's crazy. And there's clearly potential on everybody on this team. And Rossi, he's put up some brilliant performances this split, but just not necessarily consistently. So I think they can definitely do it this year, but I'm proud of it. I'm proud of GE. GE fighting, of course, always. Yeah.
Unbelievable that the roster with like the most international roster combined with like 7 duelists or whatever, like this meme in the beginning, and they made it work. Like that is an insane accomplishment. And now, like after figuring out how they can go forward, I'm so sure because they already like showcased that they can like fight all the teams in the league. I'm sure next split they're gonna attack. They're gonna be in playoffs. I'm sure. Like
I mean, Pacific was the team with the least like complete roster rebuilds. You had teams like Talon, Zeta, DRX, PaperX. You know, these teams all kind of sticking together, and other teams that had already cores like RRQ and stuff. And whereas GE just completely, you know, none of these players apart from Texture and Bazzi had ever played together before.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much the only team
Actually,
in the league
now
where
that
that
you
is...
say that, yeah, you're actually right. I believe it's only Gen G, RRQ, Global, and Detonation who have like totally new rosters. Oh, and T1.
And Gen G had that core from TNL, so they've played together before. Detonation, some of the Japanese players played together before, so you know,
it was North Reception, not right?
Yeah, North Epsion, yeah.
Yeah. So you have like 4 to 5 teams which are like already have like at least a core which is used to each other. And this is a big benefit. Like it could also be like a liability if it's like not a good working core, but in most cases, and we can see it in the standings, it did help.
Yeah. It's that positive round differential that you pointed out.
Yes.
Like they clearly played well.
Exactly.
But just not quite well enough, which is disappointing, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. And speaking of not quite well enough, but still playing really well and outperforming expectations, especially, I think is the main thing. RRQ, who are just above G in the standings, they went 4-5, just missed out on playoffs by losing the head-to-head against Gen G.
I have a prediction, real quick.
Go on.
RRQ is going to win LCQ.
That's because you think Coach Ewok is a grinder, which I'm sure he is.
Bro literally turned something that most people, like everybody was at the start thinking this team was going to be like bottom 10. They were going to be like literally Detonation.
People thought they were going to be bottom 1 or bottom 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they where Detonation is right now, that's where everybody thought RRQ would be at the start.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Ewok and the team have been working really hard. Like some of these players, you'd probably never give them a chance, if it wasn't for this entire run that they've had. So
that is true.
Really, I can low-key see give Ewok more time, and he can definitely win LCQ with this team. Even
I'm sure they will give him more time.
Yeah, I mean, after the turnaround, after the improvements from like the first couple of weeks, I think RRQ started a bit rough, and then like just got the wins, and performed good, even against strong opponents, and also today against PaperX. That was a good showing. Like they didn't look like they just got beaten and thrown out. Like they had a good fight. They put up a good fight, 10-11 in map round, like map differential. Round differential a bit different, but this is mostly, I guess, because of the early weeks where they haven't had that performance. But honestly, I'm very surprised by RQ. Yeah, they could be, I think, like some sort of like a dark horse for the LCQ, just because they improve so rapidly, I feel like. Other teams, they've been like improving slightly, but this team, like in the span of like 4 weeks, they've been like from, you think they're like the bottom team in the league to we can actually play.
Yeah. I mean, if you said to somebody that RRQ would take a map off DRX at the start of this split, they would have told you were crazy. I mean, playing Reyna at lock-in, like they've clearly evolved, which is really good to see. And I think it almost proves the fact that this partnership league can make it more competitive, which is the whole point, right? We're not going to talk about destination, but
also, I would like to just stick it in both of your faces right now. T1 is third in the groups.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
You remember that I
enough.
invested into T1 at lock-in, my stocks, and then they let me down, and now they just rise after I sold my stocks. Yeah. I had hope at one point.
And then I was here to put in the T1 stocks. So I'm going to say right now, T1 is going to Tokyo.
Let's just we'll get there.
Oh shit! Okay. Yeah. Shall we move on to Gen G? Wait.
Sorry, Ban. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
On the team again. I forgot to tell you a player.
Guys, wait. We had a big lag here for like 5 seconds. You have to go back.
Yeah, I think it happened earlier as well.
Again
for like 5 seconds.
God damn.
Anyways, yeah. Next
Carpe
team up,
is the truth, by the way.
Yo, chill about T1.
This boy is unleashed. Oh
my god. The next team is Gen G,
Shit.
the team that many people thought would probably, get top 3. It was Gen G kind of versus T1, but I think most people thought Gen G would finish above them. And it looked like they were going to. They were 4-0. And they are now 4-5, scraping it into the playoffs. Completely scraping it. If you look at their record, it almost seems satirical, the fact that
I mean DRX just literally boomed them, it seems.
Yeah, and they still even won a map. But this is what's crazy. T1 finished third. Yeah, they did fine. But Gen G 2-0 T1, 2 13-5s, just completely destroyed them, really. And then after that, they just couldn't win a match. DRX beat them, and which was kind of expected, I think. And then 2-0 globally, or 0-2 globally esports, 0-2 talent, 0-2 PaperX, and finally won a map against Zeta, and still, not like convincingly. They didn't win. Didn't look good in that game.
No.
So I worry for them going into the playoffs.
From being one of the best teams on Fracture, perhaps even in the world, like putting a fight against Loud and beating every team on that map, to just getting just melted down. Giga owned on Fracture. And for Gen G, it's a bit like the opposite story of Talon. While Talon did look good at lock-in and didn't do what they did there and just started new things, Gen G just kept running with the momentum of lock-in, and you thought like, oh, they're exactly continuing where they left at this tournament. But then I feel like the DRX match is the turning point, because DRX figured out, because they're a very skilled team, how to counter and solve the Gen G. And for me, it seems like all the other teams just made notes like, okay, that's how we're going to beat Gen G. And it just worked. There was like no adaptability, I guess. And Gen G was just like, kind of like, everyone understands now how to beat Gen G. And something we have to mention here, Gen G is only in the playoffs because RRQ didn't win today. It was not even in Gen G's hands. Like, after all, they could have just very likely like be out of the playoffs today, which is insane. Considering they started off 4-0 in dominant fashion, not just like they won games. Luckily, they had actually great performances. I don't know. Maybe Gen G was a bit like they were sure that they're going to qualify in a way, that they'd be like, okay, we try some things out. I don't know. Didn't seem like it. I just feel more what I just described, like explained, that I feel like DRX figured out how to be Gen G, and other teams just used those strats against them.
For me, it's like they're like the Leviathan of Pacific.
Oh yeah.
We saw, we're going to get to Americas, of
Actually,
course, but
not bad.
But Leviathan, they just got figured out.
Yes.
And they do the same kind of things. I feel like Gen G, They just did the same thing. You don't go 4-0 and then don't win a single match for the rest of a 9-game season
It's just
without
insane.
being figured out. That's crazy. That losing to GE and Talon, like that is just crazy to me. After 2-0ing T1, 2-0ing Secret, like
Yeah, all the top
turnaround
teams.
is crazy. So, but they did make it. They did scrape it into playoffs. They're up against
Yes.
T1 in the first game, which will be a beautiful game
Oh yeah.
for me once Gen G win. And I can say, haha, Bodok, Gen G won again. But the thing is, for Gen G and also T1, this playoff bracket, whoever wins that match will play against Paper X. If they beat Paper X, they're at Masters Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
So they do not have to play DRX to get to Masters Tokyo.
Oh.
Sayak go brr. Sayak go brr.
Whereas Zeta
Could
and
be.
Secret do, right? They don't have to beat DRX to get to
Oh, the
Masters
winner
Tokyo,
of
but they
Zeta.
will have to
Oh yeah,
play
we're gonna be at the Pickems very short. Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
that's actually
one of Paper X, T1, and Gen G will be at Masters Tokyo, which
I think that's reasonable. Like 3 very
Yeah.
nice teams.
Yeah.
Happy either like whoever make it out of those 3, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's keep going with the kind of recap of the teams. Team Secret managed to qualify for the playoffs with a 2-0 Global Esports in the last game. Whoever won that went to playoffs.
Yeah.
And also a 2-0 over DRX, which was just, huh? What?
That was
After-
like
It kind of feels like it's one of the regular stuff in these like group stages where like the top team just kind of like doozes off at the last matches.
But
That's
what's
just
weird
how it
about it is
felt.
one of the things is DRX isn't known for doing that.
true.
You know,
I
He's- this-
mean,
in Korea they did not lose a match. They just didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
They lost
they-
they lost one match to CNJ Esports. I do remember
Yeah.
that. But it
Yeah.
was very rare. And also, Secret had just lost the previous 2 games.
oh yeah.
I was thinking Secret were. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
was talking about how their momentum was finished.
Yeah,
How Secret they looked good at the start, but now they're not
they
gonna
look
make
done,
it.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean, what were they? 3-5. They were 3-5. No, 3-4. Sorry. And they get the 2 over DRX, gives them huge momentum, and just kind of win over Global Esports pretty convincingly, I'd say. Respect. I don't think they'll make it to Tokyo, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree with this. Just on the general note, I'm happy that they kind of turned it around in the end because they started off strong and then they looked really like also like figured out, similar to Gen G. And I mean, getting a win against DRX is always a crazy achievement. And now, like, yeah, making it to the playoffs, 5-4, you just don't win 5 maps on accident. Like, that's a deserved spot. But out of the playoff contesters, like all the teams which are in the playoffs, yeah, honestly, I don't see them going to Tokyo.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see them going to Tokyo because I don't see them beating DRX again. Once, like Bo
Yes.
said, once DRX have something on the line, I think it'll be a very different result.
Yeah.
It was a great result for them. Obviously, in their momentum and going into playoffs, it'll be good for them. But
isn't it double elim? You can lose against DRX, go to the bottom, right? And you can still make it through on that 3rd spot. So it's possible, but it's very difficult.
Yep.
As far as I can tell with the playoffs, if you lose in the first round, then you'll go into the match against a team that loses in the second round.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that just seems a bit weird to me, but I guess there's no other way you would do it.
That's just how double elim works.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, isn't it like 6 teams? Yeah, it's 6 teams.
Yeah, 6 teams, so there's not much
Yeah.
else you can do really.
Oh, analyzer's turned off. No.
Ghost Dog. The next team up is Zeta Division, probably the team that most people are really wanting to get to Tokyo.
Yeah.
I am for sure. I think it'll be great, but they have a tough run, but a good season for them.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting Zeta to do good. It looked shaky here and there, but they pulled through. The players were improving. This was a team where I also would say they improved consistently throughout the entire season, from looking
Yes.
not so good in the beginning to being once again, a very good team in the region. And I do have hope they can make it to playoffs. I'm not saying they're locked. They definitely have to fight for it. I do see them more in that like third spot. For me, once again, PaperX and DRX are the two favorites in my books. And then you have like a T1 Zeta who are both like very close to each other, who could, on a given day, beat each other and make this third spot, potentially. But I'm very happy that Zeta did it, like turned things around. They figured out a new way to play the game. Like people were saying like, oh, they are so reliant on Chamber and everything. And look at them now.
Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking we should probably speed this up a little bit because we don't have loads of time. So let's move on to.
Or...
We could.
I mean, we could do that.
We could. Yeah, just head straight there, and because the other teams we'll talk about them. I'm sure.
Well, how can I do them? How can I do Pickems?
You go up. It says Pickem.
Ah, Boomer
Mr.
Me.
Boomer.
Actually, Boomer me, man. All right.
Okay.
Zeta versus Team Secret. I gotta go with Zeta, man. I'm believing in Japan. Like, I want them in Tokyo. Honestly, it's not even against Secret. I just want Zeta.
Wait. We forgot about the Zeta timeline. They lost their first match, and then they did a lower bracket run.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's gonna happen again.
It happened
once.
Like,
therefore,
it would be
fitting. Every tournament they ever play. I don't think.
I'm going to say Team Secret win this time.
Okay. Who won in the league season?
I mean, I could give Team Secret the win
Zeta
here.
won 2-1 in the league season in a close game.
So it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
I can low-key see Team Secret coming in with the momentum.
The thing is, I'm fine with putting Secret here, but I'm just afraid that this like forced Zeta run the narrative we are forcing with this could cause like some other teams just to drop out like some nice, you know what I mean? Like it could just like.
Oh no! Out of nowhere, DRX isn't making it to Tokyo
because Zeta is like,
Oh no! Whoopsie daisy.
I mean, okay, for me, it's like honestly, this is just like a 50. Like in terms of scale, I could see both teams get a win. I just want to see Zeta at Tokyo because it would be Zeta at Tokyo. Like, amazing. The crowd deserves it. Zeta deserves it. Secret doesn't deserve it as well. But having a home crowd and a home team, that would be just amazing. But we give Team Secret the upper round win.
I'll go Team Secret. That's fine.
T1 versus Gen.G. This is like the Korean powerhouses fighting each other. Feels like League of Legends. Wasn't it the World's Final last year? No.
No, that was T1 versus DRX. Yeah. It was the LCK Spring Split Final. I didn't watch it. I just heard about it. Don't worry, I don't watch League.
We're gonna win that.
He just needed to make sure that everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I do not play League of Legends. I wouldn't be a
T1.
Monster.
Wait, hang on. If you click T1, will Gen.G play Zeta Division? Oh no! What?
No,
they're gonna play against the loser against. Of those.
Right. Okay, I see. Yeah. So I think T1 will win this match.
Me too.
Okay. I like that.
Rare agreement with Bo. So do we have okay, so we need to do the upper semifinals first, so we have the lower round ones. DRX versus Team Secret. I mean
it's DRX,
Oh, look, Bo, what happened here? Zeta is playing T1 and T1 is out. You wanted that. You wanted that.
What a shame.
What are you guys talking about? PaperX ain't winning. PaperX ain't winning the semifinals.
What do you mean? PaperX are easily going to destroy them. Like they did in the
so you would say, okay, PaperX is winning the uppers, so they go lower, and Zeta still wins because we have opted in for the lower Zeta run.
That's just not happening, bro.
I told you we fucked up.
T1 qualifies for Tokyo, so I mean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's cap. And you know as well.
No.
I mean, we can still argue. Honestly, we can still argue about the T1 versus Zeta match because I don't think it's fair to say Zeta just goes through because of your forced narrative. But I think PaperX is like PaperX is going to win against T1, and I think those teams will meet in the upper final. That's for me just a big lock.
I said this like on a previous episode, but I do match predictions on what I can visualize like on the screen after the match. Like I can just see like Zeta being like cheering like nice and just T1 is just gonna fall over, man. They're gonna lose to PaperX and something is gonna aim diff everybody. He's gonna just destroy everybody. I love you, side player, but I'm really sorry, but you're gonna lose. Zeta Division are going to their way into lower round 2. Gen.G, they're going to make a comeback arc. I love Adobo Gang. I love Pinoy Power. Secret, sorry, you're out. And then Zeta Division will win against Gen.G. Then Zeta Division are qualified to Tokyo, and then they'll lose. That's what's going to happen.
Holy shit, man.
I got the script.
Is that the future? Wait, hang on. Can we continue with the lower round 1? T1 versus Zeta.
Zeta.
I'm gonna go with T1.
Actually, low key, if T1 lose,
if he's going with Zeta now, I don't know what to say.
If T1 lose,
if T1 lose Paper
X,
bro, have you watched Paper X play? I bet you haven't watched him play. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. Paper X are insane. They're so good. They played Reyna earlier and won. They literally played Reyna on bind.
That's true.
You gotta go Zeta, man.
Where are your T1 stocks, man? T1 versus Zeta.
T1 they haven't played convincing Valorant all season. They literally haven't.
Bye.
But
Zeta ain't going to Tokyo.
Exactly.
This is such cap.
Hey, this is how I feel, Commend. This is how I feel. How does it feel, man?
How do you have Zeta? How do you have Zeta in a playoffs to qualify if for a tournament, a LAN in Tokyo, losing both games? That's not gonna happen.
Oh, you will see next week.
Skill issue.
Well, Gen.G have to beat Team Secret and then beat T1 then. And then qualify to Master.
You know what, guys? I have a great idea how we can solve it. We could just make Zeta win against Secret, and then we don't have this forced Zeta narrative.
We could do that, but then wouldn't Zeta play against Gen.G? Actually, in this timeline, I think Secret would qualify.
Oh, wait.
Because Secret have Adobo Gang, and they're gonna win. They're gonna get to the lower
What's
final.
happening? What the fuck is happening? Okay, wait.
As long as Secret don't have to play Paper X, they will qualify.
So wait, Secret against Gen.G. Who you think will win?
I now think that Secret will win. Secret play. Gen.G are on a 5-game loss streak.
Yeah, they gotta break it.
Oh.
Okay. I won't jinx Paper X if I finally get a fucking jersey from them.
You know what? Who was it? It was one of the Secret players. I think it was Warbirds, the coach. He said, "You know the reason we lost against Zeta Division and T1? Because we were so focused on beating DRX. That was the only thing we did for 3 weeks."
Did he say that?
Yes, they beat DRX, bro.
Well, they don't have 3 weeks for the playoffs, or wait, do they?
No, they don't. They have 3 days.
But I think they'll lose to DRX.
Okay,
but then they only have to focus on one match. They want the match that's in ahead of them.
No, I'm going Gen.G. I'm going Gen.G.
Vouch.
This is horrendous. Oh.
We need Korean power. We need a Korean team in Tokyo.
We have one.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, we need more.
We need more. Exactly.
It's good. No, honestly, I don't know what it is, but I have the feeling that Gen.G is gonna pull back and just showcase great Valorant in the playoffs again.
I think one of the Korean teams could, but I don't think both of them will.
Yeah, that's true. That's why one of them will not make it. And it will be. No, actually, if DRX loses, they are on the lower final. Yeah.
In this timeline, you know what's gonna happen?
What?
Paper X are gonna win this split.
So you say DRX is winning the upper final or something, and then the grand final will be Paper X? Because no one beats DRX twice, right? That's just not happening.
Yeah, no, it's Paper X. I think they would lose the upper final and then win the grand final.
Who would we have go into the lower final versus Paper X? T1 or Gen.G?
This is basically who qualifies, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want Gen.G to qualify, but I don't even think that I can't visualize them being here. I can visualize God Dead hitting a KO flash, flashing 2 people, killing one of them, and then getting traded, and then they lose the 5v4.
Remember how good they looked at the beginning of the season.
I remember how good they looked a week ago. I remember let's have a look. Let's have a look at Gen.G and who they lost to. Zeta, Paper X, Talon, Global Esports.
You can lose those. Those are great teams.
Get closer to the mic, dude. That's my shtick.
But honestly, this one, T1 versus Gen G, difficult to predict.
I really like Gen G. I wouldn't mind either of these teams making it through. In fact, I really would, but I don't mind who we pick here. So it's up to you guys.
I'm gonna go with Gen G, but I don't know. Bo is probably going with T1.
T1.
All right, I'll go Gen G then.
You guys are mean.
Wait, I mean that's so.
Look at this bracket. Can you really visualize
That
T1
bracket?
versus Gen G in the lower round 2 finals?
Yeah,
I
can
can't
honestly
see that in my head.
Why? Like
just
T1
can't
is
see
the third seed, right? The third best team right now.
Yeah, and Gen G's the 6th best team.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Bro thinks he knows Valorant. Keck W.
No, I
There
honestly
will
think-
always be an upset, bro. There will always be an upset.
Yeah,
There
we
will
have the
always be something
upsets.
that you don't expect.
Yeah, but what would be the?
You just
I
gotta
think
prepare for that.
in the current timeline, Gen G would be the upset, right?
Yeah.
I feel like currently no one is like high on Gen G, and I feel like they will, get it back, and they will showcase that they're a great team. On the other hand,
Or
I
T1.
do.
T1
yeah.
is also kind of like it's kind of 50-50.
I mean, honestly, I could also
say
see
that.
like Zeta going actually through the lower bracket. I can honestly see that.
Yeah.
But I would go with Gen G anyway, so Gen G would go to the lower final.
I mean,
I don't know. I think
I'll just submit my own Pickems, and I'll be right.
that
look,
will not happen.
Zeta Division have Laz, and that picture of Laz like in
T1 and Zeta Division, too fucking bad.
Yeah, okay,
that
Zeta goes
picture of
through here.
Laz
There
at
you go.
Champions. When
Thank you,
Laz is
thank
like
you.
I
Okay.
fixed
when
it.
Laz is sat there at Champions, like
Where's T1?
You cannot have both. You can't have
I
both.
can't have both. Okay.
You wanted the lower bracket one, so yeah, you have it.
look, it's just look at
T1
that picture of
beats
Laz
Paper
at
X.
Champions when they lose to
T1 beats Paper X.
when they
T1
lost to
beats
Loud, bro.
Paper X.
Laz is sat there like he's crying, bro. He is not going to lose both games here. You just can't do that.
Zeta made the lower bracket. Do we give them the win over
my
DRX?
God. What is going on?
I think no, Zeta they're only going to get to the lower final. They'll get beaten by whoever's
yeah.
in the lower final, I think.
So
But-
it will be Paper X. But honestly, you see Paper X winning the split? Could
I can see
happen.
it.
Could
I see
happen.
it. They're crazy good,
Low-key, yeah, sure.
especially with Forsaken on what's it called? Forsaken on non-duelist. He looks
Yeah,
great.
he actually looks great. I got
Played Harbor earlier, and it was actually pretty.
And
damn
something
good.
is farming. It's actually ridiculous.
This guy, he's farming tier 2. He's farming tier 1, huh?
It's
Wow.
crazy.
I don't know. He's just
In the
so
same
good.
way. I mean, now he gets enabled insanely, I assume. But
Yeah,
DRX,
very
Paper
true.
X, Zeta, if those three teams make it to Tokyo, it would just be exactly the three favorites, which always went to the international lands. But it would be great because those teams are great.
True that.
I wouldn't underestimate Secret going into this either, but not everybody can make it. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with this.
I do honestly think that besides DRX, no one is a lock. But given the the current form of Paper X, I do see them go through. So the third place is just up for the grabs. It's impossible for me to predict who will be the third or something because they look so close to each other, and like at any given day they can just beat each other. I could see Team Secret do the run as you suggest. Could just happen. Adobe game.
Yeah. All right. I think
All right. That concludes.
that's
We
it for
have
Pacific.
waffled enough about Pacific.
we really have
Yeah.
waffled enough about Pacific.
Yeah.
It is now time to waffle about EMEA.
Hell
But not
yeah.
for as long, probably, because not
Yeah,
all the
we
matches have been
skip
played.
through.
Why is Team Vitality's logo out of nowhere just really dark black?
Because
Yeah,
they just
I-
fumbled the
Dark mode.
black rib vitality.
Yeah, very true. They don't even deserve a logo after
Yeah.
fumbling the bag to BBL. To BBL, let me just say that. BBL, Big Boss Life Esports. They have fumbled the bag to Big Boss Life Esports.
There's still a chance for Team Vitality to qualify for playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not in their own hands, but considering like they were 3-0 in the beginning and looked pretty decent to be in this position. But we can talk about Vitality very soon. Carmine Corp, how do we conclude their season? What do you guys think?
They didn't look terrible in their last 2 games, but they just played too bad at the start of the season. There was no way they were ever going to qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I do think,
it was
though,
tragic.
having an actual IGL and Scream on the fragger role, it's a concept that works. Who would have
Yeah.
thought? And I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even mind if Zaysha is going to continue being the IGL because it looks so much improved to what we have seen in the first weeks of the split, with Scream being the IGL and the fragger, and I don't know. But I wouldn't mind if they would pick up a French-speaking IGL and actually have the talent on the team is there. The players they have are really good, and I do think an IGL could improve them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, if you bring in Enzo for Zeish, then you've got a decent roster. Although Enzo, I doubt he's going to want to leave Apex
Yeah.
at this point, but we're talking about off seasons and taking it that Apex don't qualify to franchising.
Yeah.
But you're right. Scream looks great. He actually looks great when he's just tapping heads.
Yeah.
So Carmen Corp, they just played too bad at the start of the season, unfortunately. But I'm glad they're not a laughing stock anymore.
Yeah. And at least they're not 0-9.
Yeah.
All right.
Koi.
Man, I cannot get my hand around it. I don't understand it, because it's not that they look awful the entire time, but then they do, and then they stop doing it for a map, and then they do look awful again, and they don't get wins, and they're just out of contention, but lose against Heretics in a nail biter, weird, I don't know, jail Valorant game. I cannot understand what Koi is doing. I don't know where the issue lays and what is the problem with Koi, but in theory this team is not bad. I don't understand it. Something is really off for them.
It has to be an internal thing with the team.
Yeah.
They just don't gel well, or it's just not they just don't have the vibe with each other.
Because all of these players we know individually can pop off.
And they showcase that.
Yeah. I really, really highly rate Trex and Shados. And they played well this season.
Yeah.
Starkso's had his moments. Even Wolfen as well. Coldamenta, he's Coldamenta, but
Coldamenta has been shaky. Starkso has been very inconsistent, to be honest.
He's kind of always been that, though.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've always seen with Starkso, and that was also why I was not very hopeful about Koi this entire time. You remember back at Lock-in, I was doubting Koi. Meanwhile,
that is
everybody
true.
was still going oh my god, Koi is going to win it all and all of that. And I just always looked at this team and I just thought that okay, Shadows good, Trex good, Starkso inconsistent as fuck, even at champions. He's one match he's basically a more inconsistent version of Bozzy, whereas Bozzy pops off on one map and then bottom frags on another. For Starkso, it's more just he looks good on some maps and he looks bad on some maps, so it isn't as bad as how Bozzy used to be. Coldamenta has been shaky always.
Yeah, but he's the IGL. Yeah, but for Starkso, also just general Koi went through a lot of not roster changes, but role changes in that split. From Wolfen being the entry to being a Killjoy, and Trax picking up the raid, and there's
some
so much
kind of stuff. Yeah,
they're trying to figure out stuff, obviously, but I do think it takes a toll on
you need to cover during the off season.
Yeah,
I feel like that. Yeah, that's the thing. They're doing that because they feel the current thing is not working.
Yeah,
they're not just I
honestly say just put Shadows on Reyna at this point. You could low-key just sneak a win against Team Liquid. Sorry,
they can't qualify.
No.
So,
but they can still beat Team Liquid. That would be fun.
In that game,
just playing Shadows Reyna.
I mean, but you know that the stakes are that is the most zero value match out of this entire split, because we are locked third and they are locked not playoffs. So
then why not just insta-lock Reyna and go farm Team Liquid?
Is that the moment? Okay, I'm gonna play here. I have it. I'm already prepared, guys.
I'm
gonna play.
Why does he have it on right now? What is going on?
Here, I'm playing. I'm playing on Friday. I'm gonna farm Koi. It's leaked.
Farm Koi.
Oh no.
Imagine.
Team Liquid is actually gonna get 13-0. What is happening? Oh no.
I am gonna get one. I'm good for one. I'm good for one, bro.
I'm good for one.
I mean, 13-1 isn't better, mate. I'll be honest.
How many rounds did you win on LAN?
True. How many rounds did Hukar's win on LAN?
I mean, we don't have the money for a fucking LAN. That's the problem.
That's the problem. Okay, but we're not talking about Liquid but Koi, I don't know. This team, I feel sad about them, honestly, because I think the talent is there, but some things are clearly not working out, so they have to do changes, and I fear they're gonna kick the wrong part.
I'd say
what
if they
what do you
wanna,
think about them? Like, if they get rid of Barbar and Cordamenta and Wolfen.
I'd still be uncertain about Starkcell, but
Yeah, but that would definitely help.
Yeah, I do think some of the part of problem seems to be coaching from like when you watch those matches. They have some decent set plays, but they just kind of fumble when
The
those
macro.
don't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also like, isn't it always like map 2 that they keep winning? No, it's map 1. So basically they have some like momentum, but they lose that momentum. So probably get a performance coach, I guess.
Yeah, that would definitely help.
I gotta make a video about that Ascend team, man. What happened to them?
Oh, yeah.
What happened? I mean, with Zeke as well.
Yeah,
and speaking of, let's move on to Heretics. They have they've looked way better. They've looked way better without Zeke. And I'm not
way better. Yeah, sure. But they still look like, I mean, some tier 2 teams would easily beat them.
Yeah, probably. But like, they have a chance to make it to playoffs.
They do?
Yes. Yeah, there's this like, there is one scenario where they could qualify. If it's gonna be a 3-way or 4-way tie.
Okay, it's the 4-way tie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it.
I do think they look improved. I think if they, I mean, definitely they have like big issues, and it was so obvious that that's gonna happen. Like, I don't know which outcome was expected by putting together this roster, but exactly what I was considering to happen happened. Like that, Kellogg's is still hot and cold. That Mixwell and Kellogg's have role issues like overlaps, and all of those things just happened for Heretics. And then they kick the world champion Zeke, who wasn't also performing like all the other players, and Weber stepped in, and suddenly this team looked improved, similar to like Carmine Core in a way, but it's not enough to make it to playoffs even next split. So I'm pretty sure Heretics need change.
I would like to add something. The ALPA board has been announced.
The what?
Like it's the player association for Americas.
Oh.
Speaking of, why don't we have it in EMEA?
What was it? Just announced like right now?
Yeah. If you go on Valorant PA, I'll send you the link real quick.
Send the link. Opening it. Give me 1 sec.
There so just real quick, like the president is Vanity.
Oh.
Oh man.
They also used to have Aaron, but he is now, of course, an APAC. So it's gonna be Dazzle, Sodhawk, Steel, Muriz, and Mel, which are like vice president. Dazzle is a treasurer. I don't know what that is, but all right. And they also have representatives of like the partner teams and like the North American like challengers teams. We actually need this for all regions, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
So, anyways, back to actually the good stuff.
Yeah, let's get over it a bit more quickly, I guess, right?
America's who?
Yeah.
Anyways.
But Heretics like definitely need some change for Split 2 or LCQ. I mean, there's no possibility, but
they can't even change anything.
Yeah.
They need a miracle to make it through LCQ, I'll be honest.
I mean,
I don't see them winning.
Yeah. Vitality. Disappointment.
Again. What happened? Are they on a 4-game loss streak? Yeah, I mean 2 of those against Na'Vi, Fnatic.
No, 5 games. They were 3-0. I'm pretty sure.
No, they lost to Foot in the 3rd game, so they were 3-1.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they look good, and now they just don't. That loss to BBL, it looks like it really kind of shook them. But Na'Vi, Fnatic, Giants, you're not really going to win those games. They made
Yeah.
it close against Fnatic, so I could still see them making a run
Yeah.
in an LCQ type scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But also, am I right in thinking that the fourth team from this EMEA split doesn't get guaranteed to champions?
No. I think only the top 2 teams will guarantee to champions, and
Yeah.
then the rest will play in LCQ. So the 2 best performing teams at Tokyo will make it automatically 2 champions.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Damn. So Giants, Liquid, are still going to be in the LCQ. So I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah.
potentially yes.
Wait, is it top 3 or top 2 best performing teams? I thought it was 3, but I might be wrong.
I think top 2, but I could be mistaken.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of fell off.
I didn't see that much progression, honestly, throughout the matches. Of course, they made it close to against Fnatic, and like they had close series here and there. But then -18 in round differential, 7-11 maps. It's not that convincing. So there's a reason why they're not in playoff contention. And then on the other hand, you have like teams which showed progression, which been like both Foot and BBL. The Turkish teams, which I think you have said that more than once, Command, that like it's actually amazing to have potentially both Turkish teams in the playoffs, and no one would have thought that. No one had that on the list, I'm sure.
No.
Like one of them would be great. Both unexpected, but rightfully so. They played very good Valorant. Like, I mean, I remember last week playing against BBL like Liquid played against BBL, and man, BBL is just they taking fights, they forcing fights. They are not afraid of like playing, and they won Ascent against us. They won Ascent against Fnatic. They won Ascent against DRX. They have the best Ascent in the world, I assume. I'm really curious. I hope actually BBL gonna make it to playoffs instead of Vitality. But there is something I wouldn't say concerning, but there is Foot playing BBL. While one team needs a win, the other team is pretty much locked, right? Or in a way.
Yeah, Foot is qualified.
So it's a bit of a interesting scenario that both Turkish teams play against each other. But then I feel like you would still try. I mean, there's no reason not to win.
Yeah, maybe Foot just start like whiffing some shots, get their Turkish brothers in the playoffs. No, I'm joking, but I would, like I said before, it would be great to see both Turkish teams. And people thought Foot would just go. People thought Foot would be the 0-9 team in the EMEA, because of how bad they looked, and they did look bad at those off-season tournaments. But they've managed to turn it around. With the as captain sub in at the start of the season, it's paid off really well.
Yes,
and it's at the point now because Giants don't look. I'm kind of incorporating Giants in this as well. They don't look as good as I thought they did, in a weird way. Like they do look good, but that 0-2 against Heretics.
This was the one which was like really concerning. Everything else, it was completely like on my script. Like they beat all the teams they should beat. They play close series against Liquid. They play close series against Fnatic and Na'Vi. Like this can happen. But then losing against Heretics 0-2, this is like just like what the fuck.
Yeah, there was a bit. Maybe they just had an off day. But I mean, that could have seriously hurt them. Their chances of getting into playoffs. They lost against Vitality. They're qualified now, and they play against KC. So, they're probably going to win. But yeah, that the Foot, Giants, BBL are kind of the teams. They're kind of in their own tier for me. Maybe put Vitality in there as well. But the top 3 teams, they're too good, man.
Yeah,
Liquid, of course. Are you going to include Liquid in that same tier, bro?
I'd say Liquid is like the gatekeeper right now. But like, of course, they also have like gone like 5-3, so it's not like as dominant as like Na'Vi or even Fnatic.
Yeah, definitely not.
They still have had some losses.
Maybe I'd put like a tier break below and above Liquid.
But yeah, it's.
Yeah, I guess they played with Harmy. You almost feel like if they didn't, they could have won that match against Na'Vi.
That's
which
true.
Then both teams would be 6-2. But I don't know. They're still obviously qualified and they look good.
Yeah.
And then When's the Fnatic Na'Vi game? It's tomorrow,
tomorrow,
as when
yeah.
we're recording this.
It's about the first seed.
Oh, that'll be a banger.
Yeah, it should be a really good match. It's the only match tomorrow. It should be great. Who are you guys predicting for that?
I'm going with Na'Vi just because.
Wow. Yeah, it's difficult. You know what? I'm gonna go with Fnatic just to see the first, like the only team to have the perfect split. But then in the playoffs, I'm rooting for other teams. But for this one, I'm gonna go with Fnatic just to give them the perfect record and the first split. Would be cool.
If Na'Vi were like fighting for something meaningful in this last game, then maybe I'd give the edge to them. But neither team has any reason, like any specific reason to win other than just to win.
Imagine if Na'Vi have been using the past 3 weeks to actually beat Fnatic.
I mean, in theory, you can play like, look, if you're like the first or second seed, it depends like which team you're gonna face. Like either it's like 3 and 6, or you know, like you could kind of like figure out, okay, which teams are like you favored to play against, which you don't. So there's like good reasons for being first or second. Like both can make sense. It's really up to the team, but I don't think it makes sense to like gamble on it. You just have to go for the win and like play for the win. Like so much is still possible. Besides Liquid, every team isn't locked on their spot. I think Liquid is the only team which is locked for the third, and the other 3 teams still play like 4, who is like 4th, 5th, 6th. So I don't think it makes any difference, and like it's not the highest stake match. I feel like it's just a prestige match at the end of the day. If it's like, yeah, and I'm going to give Fnatic the edge on that one.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think I'd probably do the same. I just love Leo, man, and Chronicle. These guys are the goats of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good season overall for EMEA. We've had some good storylines, some funny storylines as well, with namely with KC. But yeah, it's been
surely been
enjoyable. Yeah, definitely. Do you think? Yeah, we were just talking about it, but Fnatic would be the only team to go undefeated in the regular season, with DRX and Loud losing. So I think that would be nice if they went undefeated. They're used to doing it in EMEA, so we'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, Americas. America.
And this, I don't know, this league been nothing like I expected it to be.
It has been it truly has been a North American league. Not a North American league.
Oh my.
It feels like it because of the amount of drama and clout farming that's going on.
Yeah.
Leave some clout for us, guys, please.
Let's start from the bottom.
Yes.
Crew, not much really to say. They've had close series, and it's not like, they've got double the maps of Detonation, but they're still 0-8 at the end of the day. It doesn't look like that. They're probably not going to beat C9. That's probably the worst matchup they could actually have in this last week to try and get a win. They'll probably go 0-9 and unlucky, I guess. Their roster on paper, I just don't think competed.
No,
with other teams,
and I don't think the Kaznet move, like at the end of the offseason, was it. Like I think Xant, like
Crew is going
like I don't
low
know.
key.
No,
it would be funny if Cloud9 lost to Crew at the end, but they'll probably be like in the same corner with Detonation, just vibing.
No, Cloud9 wants to win that because Loud is playing Leviathan, which is like a very there's such high stakes for Lev that there is a possibility that Loud's gonna lose that because it doesn't matter for Loud too much. And I feel like Cloud9 maybe wants to be the first seed. Maybe. So I feel like, and like also it's like a bit of a good flex to say like no one had us on their list. Like I think we had him on the last spot on our tier list, and now they're like potentially first.
And I don't think putting Cloud9 as the bottom of a tier list at the start of this season, I don't think that was stupid or anything.
No,
there was no way we would have known that this could have happened. Bringing in these 2 new players, but huge props.
Just
anyway,
MIBR.
We'll get onto them. MIBR, they're worse than Crew in my opinion. They're just the worst team.
Yeah, they had 2 good games, and then that's it. They just dipped for all the other games.
How did they beat NRG? I still don't understand how that happened. Like,
I mean, Energy. I honestly, did Energy just beat themselves with their weird cuckoo comms and like trying to play Killjoy on 3 players every map? They just played chess while MIBR just played Valorant in 1. I don't know.
That's actually I like that metaphor. But MIB are just bad. I mean,
Yeah, sadly.
they're not good right now. I don't see them winning an LCQ with this roster. I mean, they have a minus 83 round differential.
Yeah, you can't
That
win.
is-
You cannot win LCQ with minus 83. Like,
Bro, they're on a 10 map loss streak. Huh?
10 map loss streak?
Yeah.
What? They've
That's
been
just
5.
terrible.
Wait, they've
man.
been 5-4 in maps, and then went 5-14. No shit. That is rough.
Oh.
That is rough. I mean, okay, that is rough though.
Yeah, I mean, watching them play against EG was actually just sad.
Mm.
13-2, 13-5.
To be fair, EG, well, we're gonna talk about them, but they improved.
Yeah, they're kind of cooking.
Yeah.
But MIBR, not good. Okay. Here we go. Here they are. Finally made it
Oh
to
yeah.
Sentinels.
What
Um,
are the odds? They can still make it, right? I saw just memes. I don't
Yes.
know if that's a little legit odds, but like,
they have a 17% chance of making it, apparently. If they beat Furia 2-0,
okay.
that goes to a 49% chance. But
What
that
else
obviously
does have
involves
to happen?
beating Furia 2-0. Now,
Okay.
either 100 Thieves lose to MIBR. If that happens, as long as Sentinels win, I think, or win 2-0, they'll qualify. Because they're the head-to-head over 100 Thieves.
Okay.
Yeah, because then they'll have the head-to-head over 100 Thieves and Furia.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
if and NRG have the 2-0 EG, honestly I don't know. It's crazy. There's like 4 or 5 different scenarios where they make it. Most of them they don't. And obviously they have the 2-0 Furia, which I don't think people are necessarily expecting to happen. But it's Sentinels. Anything can happen at this point.
Yeah. I mean, Marth died yelling, right?
Yeah. What do we think about dropping Def entirely? What's the group's opinion on that?
No, I don't know what the Sentinel management, like dropping Dev and dropping Psycho. Like, honestly, I disagree with that, like, totally entirely. Like, I don't know, I just don't get it. Even though they like now won a game, I don't care. It's not based off the decisions. It's based off like still having good players. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy with what Sentinels did. And they will do more like changes in the off season, and like I don't know, because this won't be the last. I doubt that this is the team we see in the next split. It's gonna change drastically once again. I just hope they're gonna win the game just for TenZ. He deserves a win. I don't even mind if they qualify for playoffs. I just want them to win like 2-1, whatever. Even if it doesn't matter, I want them to win just for good vibes.
I don't think they're not as bad as MIBR. I think if they'd have lost
No.
the crew and gone 2-6, I think that would have been sad to see.
Yeah.
But TenZ came back, had a good game. Zekken,
Yep.
you have to think if he was on like Cloud9 or NRG,
Oh yeah.
he would just be farming. He would be farming.
Yeah.
But went to Sentinels, playing controller against crew and completely overwhelming the lobby. I think they can pull out a win against Furia. I don't know if they'll make it to playoffs. For the clout, it would be great, but they don't need to. And they've said their focus is on LCQ now and not on playoffs. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Leviathan. We have touched on it briefly, right? Saying that they feel like people just know how they play and figured them out.
Yeah, I feel like it's been that way for a while, I think. Just people just figured it out, and they don't change up enough protocols and stuff to, warrant getting any wins. They just, and that's why they end up currently not in the playoff positions, which is crazy to think about. Some people had them at number 1, after the first match of this split. So.
And I do think, like, just individually, the players still put up numbers. It's like they just I don't know, they can't win series as it seems right now. It's weird. They're in a weird spot for me because I don't think they're a bad team, and I do think they still deserve playoffs. And I would also think they have a chance in the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't look like they just got stomped, right? Like the 11-9 like map score. So they're still some sort of competitive, but they're just missing something which they had in the past to pull through series and look very how you say it, like dominant, which they aren't doing right now. And yeah, I mean, who did they lose to against? Cloud9, EG100. They just lost to all the North American
That
teams.
Cloud9 game. I know Cloud9 was good. Like, I know Cloud9 is good, but
Yeah.
it was a dismantling.
Yes.
It was a complete just destroying of Leviathan.
Yeah,
And that comes down to a coach and players who will prep. You know, we've seen that from Cloud9. They're always steps ahead of the teams they play.
Yeah.
And against Leviathan, I think that just, you know, brings it
Agree.
up 2 levels. Bo's been flashbanged.
Yeah.
He's concentrating right
sorry.
now.
I got some stuff that I real quick need to get done.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. Sure. I mean, okay, let's one thing, like just one game which is going to happen. Loud versus Lev for playoffs, right? I guess Lev. Wait.
Yeah, they can still make it.
They still have to win against. Wait, did they win against Furia though?
Yes.
No. Can they make it?
They can, yeah.
In which world? Oh, they won against EG, so they have the head-to-head. No, they lost against EG as well.
Wait, hang on.
They lost to EG.
They beat Sentinels and.
Can they still make it?
They lost to EG, Furia, and 100 Thieves, didn't they?
They can only make it if they win, and like EG, Furia, like one of them like is on 4. Yeah, okay, they can still make it, of course. If Furia loses, it's 4, and like they have to win basically. If they're not winning, they're out.
Yeah. So, which is a crazy position for them to be in, considering how how high they were estimated at the start.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bit crazy.
It is a bit crazy. Other team which is like doing exactly the opposite and now standing at the same scoreline as EG.
Yeah. They just improved loads. After that Loud match, even though they got 13-0'd, feels like they just... And that win against Leviathan, that was so important for them, I feel.
Yeah.
Potter, you know, do really great micro plays.
Yeah.
Those small plays, those small anti-strats, just great from her. And this team looks competitive, which they didn't at the start of the season, which I think is really important.
Which is really I wouldn't say surprising, but for me the most surprising move was dropping BCJ in favor of like Demon 1, right?
Demon 1. Oh, yeah. That guy.
Yeah, but it was a surprising move. It caught me off guard, but it did pay off. Oh my god, they dismantled MIBR and even Sentinels. Like, they won against Lev. Yeah, I mean, respect. Honestly, respect. They were under pressure. They had to perform. Demon 1 playing Jet and Brimstone and just dropping. Great changes. They made sense. And what I liked about EG's approach was, in contrast to like Sentinels who just dropping like players left and right and changing in and out and coach and doing a lot of things, I feel like EG was they had a calm approach. They just figured out, okay, we have something not working out and we just switch one piece of just one piece. And it took some time for it to fully like show the potential, but it has proven to do so. And I like the approach. It was like more thoughtful, like, I don't know, just not like, I don't know, just rushed. And I'm happy that they are now in a position where they can potentially make playoffs. Who is their last game? Energy.
But they don't need to win.
They don't need to win necessarily, yes.
So if Leviathan lose to Loud, which could very well happen, and Sentinels lose to Furia, they're through. Which I think could also very well happen. And it's probably the most likely scenario. So, yeah.
But even if they wouldn't make it with a 4-5, almost making the playoffs, I wouldn't say it wasn't not like it was still a successful split in a way. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely, and they gave the roster time. That's the main thing. Which not a lot of teams do nowadays.
Yep.
Like Sentinels. So,
Furia.
Let's move on to Furia. Bo's back in the room. He's back.
Hello. I am here.
What are your opinions on Furia, Bo Dorkian?
To be honest, I haven't watched a lot of their matches. There's been too much waffling around here. But at least one of these won against them, so
That's all bro knows about Fury. He doesn't even know the
Exactly.
players.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Who the fuck is MW Zera? Like, what? Who's that?
But
I
I'm
think
happy he's having he's playing good. I'm happy he's playing good.
mm, the only problem for me is I think Fury will probably beat Sentinels. They'll probably get into the playoffs, but I just don't see any other teams from this. I see the top 3 teams right now as they are going to Tokyo,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because NRG beat Loud looked great. Cloud9 look completely unstoppable right now, and Loud will they'll just win when they need to.
Furia is in a way a team which for me, like they have macros and everything, like they play good, great Valorant, but sometimes I feel like they rely on like, I don't know, fighting people, pushing them. And
Yeah.
this play style is just some days it doesn't work. And this is a problem. You need something, I feel like, to be like in a league play, you need to be consistent. And if you rely on like, even if it's just a little bit of like those individual aspects, it can just like backfire on certain days. And I still think Fury has a fair shot. Like I hope, I mean, yeah, they will probably make it to playoffs, and they're a great team. If they can figure out, similar to the problems like PaperX had, where they can maintain this element of like craziness, like fight people and push them to the limit. Yeah, that's dangerous. But right now it feels like they had a great start into the season as well, I think, and then like bit rough end now.
Yeah, North America kind of rose up from the ashes.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
at like there's the table where at the start of the season it's like the 5 South American teams are on top apart from Crew, and then it's the 5 NA teams below them. So, but it's almost completely shifted now. So
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah,
honestly, like
interesting.
2 teams which were so much with the backs against the wall were like 100 Thieves and Energy. I think there was a point where Energy was like had the lowest percentage of locking into the playoffs out of all the North American teams, and now they're sitting at the top. There they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people knew that they were going to pull through eventually, and they were experimenting obviously, but they always had these roles and these picks to fall back on. They have done. FNS looks crazy good with the IGLing. Som he's great.
Yeah.
Artist back on the Jet looking incredible. Victor,
Well, I don't know.
this guy, he's just gone absolute demon mode.
Yes.
Especially against, if you watched that Loud game in the first map, he was insane on the race.
He was.
And he's flexible as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I think NRG will make it to Tokyo if they keep playing like this.
Yeah.
I think that's hard to debate considering they just beat Loud. And you could argue that Loud didn't have anything to play for. That's very true. But yeah, it's still a good win regardless.
Still, yeah, definitely. We kind of skipped 100 Thieves here. For me, even though they're in the 4th spot right now, I'm still not sold on them. I don't know.
No, agreed. They got 4 wins, but it was like it didn't feel like, not that they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
But I think it's because the wins they got were upsets. Like they beat Leviathan and Furia in upset wins. Those weren't like, oh, we were expecting them to win. They still lost 2-0 to Loud. They lost 2-0 to NRG. They lost 2-0 to Cloud9. These are the teams that they're going to have to beat to get to Tokyo. I don't think they're the 4th best team. I would put Furia and possibly even EG above them. Even though I know they did beat Furia, but like I said, it was very close on that final map. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think.
And then, sorry, go on.
No, I was about to go like to the 2 teams which just
Yeah.
deserve to be at this spot, because what they have showcased throughout this entire split was pretty damn impressive. Cloud9 and Loud, both teams do deserve to be there. I think Loud, everyone expected them to be on the 1st place in a way. I was not expecting them to drop that many maps on the way, and I was not expecting it to be as close as it was sometimes. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? Like, they're number 1.
But in the end, doesn't even matter.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. I think they were very clearly testing stuff and showing strats, and the fact that they can do that and still just destroy people. Well, not destroy people, but still go 7-1.
Yeah.
I mean, like they almost went undefeated. you can't really test stuff against a prime NRG and expect to win. I don't think they were
No.
really expecting to win that match. Because NRG obviously had a lot to play for. Loud don't at the moment.
Mhm.
But I think that'll be the thing when it gets to the playoffs. If we get a Loud C9 matchup in that upper final, which is very possible, or if Loud and NRG rematch, I think Loud will step up.
Mhm.
They've shown they can when they need to. The fact people, I know Lock-in was only single elim and it was different, but the fact that they pushed Fnatic to 5 maps and
Yeah.
almost won, they were 2 rounds away from
Yeah.
13-3ing the final map. Like, that's
Mhm.
not insignificant.
Yeah,
This
that's
team
true.
is crazy good. Aspas had an off
Yep.
day against NRG. I still think they're the best team in Americas, but
Yeah.
Cloud9, they're catching them. They are catching up.
Yeah, I
And
did not
Leaf.
see that coming. Yo, I mean, plus 71 in the round differential. That tells a lot.
Yeah,
They went farming.
they really have. And the new pickup's been playing incredibly well, but Leaf is the standout. This guy is crazy. And from
Yeah.
what I've heard as well, he's also contributing to the strategy of the team, calling some stuff.
So what you're
Nice.
saying is Leaf is carrying the big bean right now.
No. He's carrying the whole team, but
Yeah, he is.
they don't need carrying. Like, they're
Yeah,
still really
that's
good
the
anyway.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They are not reliant on a single player. They have 5 good players, and
Yeah.
especially like the
Rooney's
pickups,
calling
like,
has also been clean. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
there hasn't been a lot of issues that got punished, at least.
yeah, it's impressive. I do think also like Cloud9 has the benefit of being a new team in a way. Like, it can be like a disadvantage, but if you have a team which mesh well, it's a big advantage of like not having like this. Like, people don't know how you play the game. It's still new. They didn't see your team play on all the maps frequently, like in a lot of like demos. So it's a kind of an advantage which they have right now. And I think if it would come down to like LCQ and people have seen them play at like Tokyo, several maps, it will look different. But right now they can just keep riding. And with that, what they showcased so far, I don't see any reasons why they couldn't make it to Tokyo.
Yeah, agreed. It's for me, it's the ease in which they dealt with
Yeah.
Leviathan, Furia, Sentinels, and MIBR.
Even
Those
100
last
Thieves,
4
right?
matches, yeah, as well. But especially those last 4 matches, it was so easy. It
Yeah.
looked so easy. And
Mhm.
MCE, I put out a tweet about it yesterday at Command
Yeah.
Mighty on Twitter. I put out a tweet about it yesterday, saying that MCE is he's the GOAT of developing players.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the best coach in NA. Of course, there's Chet as well, who's got
Yeah.
a great track record. But I think he was the best coach pickup of the offseason
Yeah.
in terms of signing a new coach.
Mhm.
MCE, yeah, he's goated. And they've got something really special here. And bringing on these 2 rookies, I think, it's made their career, the potential that was seen in them, and now they've been trusted to do this job, and they've done it really well. So props to Cloud9 for the scouting. I don't know how much of that was the org and how much of that was MCE, but anyway, their team looks incredibly good.
Kind of seems like an MC thing.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
wouldn't give the organization too much credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, true.
MCE.
Forget
I'll
it. We're
give MCE
supposed
all the
to
credit
hate
I can get.
Cloud9 as an organization.
I bet we are not. Yeah, that's true. But we are praising
What happened with that
MCE.
video, Commend?
True.
Yeah,
Our Cloud9
but-
the worst org in franchising.
but
Then I
I'm-
changed the title.
But I mean, like, MCE deserves the praise. The players also, they do not deserve the flag for what the management has done to Yeaster
Yeah, agreed.
and Vanity.
07 for Yeaster.
So,
But yeah, they look great. Okay, that is the 3 leagues covered. We're going to very quickly just submit a player. We won't do too much discussion around this, but just who we think is our kind of top players from each of the leagues. Do you want to do this in terms of each person says all 3, or do you want to go in terms of league? It's up to you guys.
I maybe everyone could just say like who he has for each, like one player each, right? And then he just explains it roughly in like 1 or 2 sentences, and then we just go through for all the leagues.
All right, should we go left to right then? Bo, do you want to start us off
Okay.
with your Pacific
Best player.
Pacific player? We'll go
Okay,
Pacific,
that's actually
EMEA,
good start. Good
NA.
start. Good start.
Oh, not NA.
I'm
keep saying
going
NA,
with.
that's bad.
I am going with Mako.
I tried to find him in this pile of photos. Yeah, just
Oh my
saying.
goodness. Wait, I see him. I see him.
Mako
He's in between. He's in the column in between me and you, Banglavich.
farming,
Oh,
bro.
here?
Yeah, and then up. He's in like the middle of that column.
I'll
There
say
he
right
is.
now, Mako is the best controller player in the world right now.
Yeah. Can't argue
There's
with
no
that.
denying that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
He's just farms every single match. So I mean, there's no other player I could actually put up there.
Yeah.
It has to be Mako for Pacific for me.
Yeah.
Very much respect.
Simple as that.
EMEA.
Wait, shall we do it like all bows or
Oh
should
yeah,
we
we can
go
all
Pacific?
we can do all Pacific first,
Yeah.
or
Then I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
go
is-
with
you're
my
gonna
right.
go.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, and this is like a bit of a random pick, but honestly, it's like an appreciation pick. I'm gonna go with this guy.
Aaron.
Yeah, I do feel like his step towards the Pacific region was so unexpected, and everyone thought like, "What the fuck is going on?" But I think he plays a big role, a big part of why G is doing so good this season. He's like the consistent pillar between it, like behind like all the things which are going on, like and calling and all the things. And I think even though his performance, of course, like is affected by his IGLing, I do think he plays a very important part in this role. And for me, the pick was like probably like something or something, because like something or something, but like something was someone I had on my mind. But honestly, I think he deserves some sort of attention for what he has done, because I think it goes under the radar a lot of times.
I very much agree with that. Very good point. Who's my Pacific player? Okay, I've got.
He's gonna say something like,
I would love to, but I don't think he's shown it consistently enough at this point. Right? He's only played a few games, so I'm going to go with Envy from Team Secret.
that is not what I expected at all, to be honest.
Fair play.
If you
find it, by the
watch-
way, help me out.
I low-key forgot about Envy.
I mean, if you watch some of the Team Secret games, this guy, they haven't had before a player who will just get 2 kills or get 3 kills and win the round.
Wait, is that Envy?
He is, no, that's Lenny, I think.
I mean, valid, definitely valid.
Yeah, it is valid.
and
It's definitely valid.
If you watch their games, he hasn't been the best player in Pacific, but for me, he's the player who I had 0 expectations for coming in, and has just blown them out of the water. He's carried Team Secret to winning games. If he wasn't in their team, they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
That is true.
So I'm going with him. My runner-up would probably be like Jing or Devi, or one of the Papex players, because Devi picks up the IGLing, looks good. Forsaken as well for his flexibility.
I'll find him. Fuck man.
Envy.
Those are also not the easiest picks to like pictures to find him.
Yeah, agreed. He's got glasses.
Yeah.
They're so small. I can't like see him properly.
I thought I had him, but then I lost him.
Just find a random player with glasses, and we'll.
No. Keep trying to find him. We'll keep trying to find him. Bo, you go for your.
The screen is so small.
Yeah, it's difficult indeed.
I can't see.
Bo, why don't you go for your Wait, is he? You see where Marv is
Marv.
in the column you're in right now. Is he the picture above Marv? If you go down, move your mouse down. Down again. See, Marv is to the right of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The one
Yeah.
is that him? I think it is.
I mean, we just say it's him.
Him.
It's so
It's
small,
he.
but it's him, I think. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So we go with EMEA?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Who is your EMEA player?
This maybe has a little bit of bias, but I'm going with Shao.
Okay.
Bro has
Interesting pick.
been just consistent. Like when you see a player this consistent, you just like it's too good.
Yeah. He's been great.
I've never seen Xiao fumble. Never. Now, and don't quote me on that. By the way, it's just Xiao is just a perfect player.
He's a great player. He is a great player. I agree.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He does his job and he does it well.
Yeah, he does.
I would be happy if I would find him.
And if they need another role, he could just play it because he could play whatever role
that is crazy.
anybody asks him. He is so flexible. It's honestly crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's always been somebody. He's been that safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
For teams. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that pick.
So I am definitely going with Xiao. So
yeah, that's fine.
I love watching Bangovic like trying to
find the Xiao. It's like, where's Waldo?
It is actually.
Where is Xiao? That doesn't fit.
Where is Xiao? Let me open the tier list and see if I can.
That is so difficult. Okay, I'm just gonna continue, and then while you're gonna describe your pick, you can continue. I'm gonna go super biased. I'm gonna pick Safe. My Liquid boy. He's a big reason of why Liquid is where Liquid is right now. I don't think he's the only reason. I think the team has shaped up great, but I think Safe, currently the highest rated player in the entire league still. Not the highest ACS, this is Sturker now. But yeah, Safe, I think Demon performance on the Duelist. He was not the Duelist player at Lock-In. They went through role swaps and look great. And I think, my boy just deserves some recognition. And of course, I'm biased. I don't even try to hide it. Now I'm going to try to find Xiao.
Understandable.
No, I definitely agree with that.
Xiao, bro, searching.
Safe has been playing. I've looked at
Bro,
every picture.
okay. The episode is getting too long. We gotta speed this up, man.
Just go with the names. Just go with the names.
Just go with the names, okay?
Okay.
I need sleep, bro. I got exams tomorrow.
My EMEA player is Alfia. This guy has
respect.
He's become the best. Well, maybe not the best, but one of the best Sentinel players in EMEA.
Has he beaten Suigetsu?
Has he beaten?
In terms of consistency?
I think we'll see, but the performances he's putting up are just crazy.
Yeah.
The performances he's putting up are insane. So I'll go with him. I found Xiao, by the way. He's next to Scream and Shados. He's in between Scream and Shados.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, I found him. Nice.
What's Blood doing nobody?
All right.
He's in his FPX jersey. That's why.
Yeah, I got Alpha as well, so we're back on the pictures.
We're
Let's
back,
go. Okay, America's last region.
Okay.
I forgot which I have chosen one, but I forgot it.
Random player.
Wait, who did I have for Americas?
I'm going to say it right now. Artis.
My boy.
As the EMEA representative in Americas, he has been doing us proud. He won against Loud. He silenced all the Brazilian haters.
As if he did it alone.
Okay.
No, but
I just gotta
I just gotta show my support. He does something which other Jet mains can do, which is being flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a damn good job supporting the team. Come on.
That's true.
No, he's been good, but he's not he hasn't been the best player on NRG. But I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. At least you didn't pick like Klaus or someone.
Yeah. Honestly, I have forgotten who I chosen earlier, but who I'm gonna lock in now it's a bit mainstream right now, but like Leaf, but not for the reason of his like crazy stats he's dropping, but more for the fact that I think it's Leaf, right? Yeah, it's Leaf. That I think he was also like always like a very good player, even on the old Cloud9 iteration, which made it to champions, and when they played good. And like I remember the game against Liquid back then, where he was having like the demon performance and like it almost made it like pulled it through with C9, and he made it like so difficult for the team. And I think he's an underrated player, and now gets finally spotlight once again. And I think he was also a little bit in the shadow of Ye, and now he can showcase his potential, like his true skill, and which is always nice to see. but of course a bit of a mainstream pick. But yeah, I'll go with Leaf.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Death. No, I'm kidding. Oh yeah, there's only one player that I could really go with, and that's Aspas.
Fair.
He's maybe other than Leaf, he's the best player in Americas. He pulls Loud out of games that they're almost losing. He clutches up when he needs to. He just gets the kills he's supposed to get and more. He's just great. So I've got to pick him. Are you looking for him?
Yeah.
I'll scan it, see if I can find him.
One of the players I haven't had even seen so far. But it doesn't really matter, man. I can finish that. It doesn't matter.
Oh, he's in the top row. He's 5th along the top row.
Oh, there we go. Boom. There we have them. Look at those.
Beautiful.
Those are our top 3 players for each region. And I think those are reasonable picks. I think there's like more of like 9 players which deserve recognition for what they have done in the split. And I hope they can continue to showcase their skill in the playoffs. Okay, I mean, some people can't technically, but yeah, still. Hope to see them at least in the LCQ popping off. But yeah, I think those are really, like, I think honestly, great 9 picks.
Yeah, I think it looks good to me.
We have done way worse. All right.
Now, usually we talk about challenges here, but Bo, if you need to get some sleep before your exam.
I'll just say real quick, some news broke out about my team. Radsky is retiring from the team, as unfortunately we have decided that we were in need of a change on the roster for playoffs. So that's something that happened. Be excited of who we pick up, because it's got to be pretty good. I'm pretty sure. Depends on how it will go, but definitely be excited for who cares or not, or we just bomb out. But there's some good news about Polaris. Let's just keep it at that. Some good news coming. I don't know when, and I hope to God it's gonna be soon, because I gotta do some stuff about that. But hopefully something will happen. Okay, so be on the lookout for Polaris. Very cool.
Yes,
also, just check out the other Challenger leagues. Just jump in at times and just ask, when does Who Cars play? It's a funny meme that we have in like every single league.
It's still really funny. Really
True,
fun. You know, I laugh
exactly.
out loud every time I see the word Who Cars on Twitter.
Exactly. You just sit down, watch like a Japanese match, and out of nowhere there's a guy named Bodorks asking, when does Who Cars play?
And I just crack up.
And you
can't
just
help but
crack up. Exactly.
I can't help but laugh.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just support the Challengers teams, and
Yes.
Yeah, very much agreed.
that's about it.
That's a good word.
I'm gonna go bench.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll let Bo sleep. We'll end the episode here.
Yay.
Thank you very much for watching this week's episode of the Rendezvous Podcast. You know what to do. Like, subscribe if you do enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.